Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, and there is Mildred. There she is, hanging out. Come here, say hi. Hello, honey. I know she's a really, really good cat. When we got her, I'm digressing, of course. When we got her, she was like so skittish. She spent the first 2 weeks hiding under the bed in a drawer, and you could barely pet her. And now she's learning to settle down because she likes us, and she knows that she's safe, and she likes hanging out while we do these things. So let's let her hang out a little bit, shall we? We're here with, what am I doing? I always forget. You know, they're so distracting. I love them dearly. Now, what are we doing? We're doing the most important recording projects ever. And the current most important recording project ever that I've been listening to is this one, Rachmaninoff, the complete recordings of everything he did. So there's a lot of his own music, but there's, more importantly, music of other people. And that's what makes this such an important recording project. You know, at this time, between the 1920s, the dawn, well, there was acoustical recordings, but the dawn of electrical recording and his death in the 40s, he recorded, it's about 10 CDs worth of stuff, 12 CDs, maybe 13. Quite a good juicy pile of things. And he did it. The only other composer, let's put it this way, who was getting similar treatment was Elgar in the UK. I don't think there's anybody else who had the opportunity to have so much of his music recorded and so much of his work as a performer, as a composer pianist. I mean, that's what makes this thing special, because some of these performances are absolutely iconic and outstanding. His Chopin, his Schumann, they're amazing. The sonics, of course, are limited, but that doesn't mean you can't listen to it and enjoy it. But what really pisses me off is that this is unavailable. It's been released 3 different ways, at least on CD. There was a biggish box, then there was this, then there was a more budgy box, I think. And they're all basically out of print. I saw this on Amazon available from a third-party seller for about $150. And you'd have to be out of your mind if you're going to spend that kind of money. I'm sorry, but hopefully some of this is available in streaming audio. Some of it's public domain. It's been pirated and all that stuff. But let's go through this, shall we? And let's see how many discs are there here. Just to make sure I know. Let's see, CD 10. Yeah, 10 CDs. And it's just some really great stuff. Of course, all of the performances of Rachmaninoff doing his own things are iconic, and I never use the word definitive. There are always better performances around, but Rachmaninoff was an amazing pianist. He really was. He wasn't just a composer pianist. He was a real pianist. First of all, he had huge hands. He was left-handed. He could reach a 12th. I mean, it was like insane. But as Earl Wild pointed out, that's not always an advantage. It's not an advantage when you're playing octaves, because you got to scrunch your hands together to get octaves. And most composers are quite content, virtuoso composers particularly in writing octaves, fast octaves, double octaves, triple octaves, quadruple octaves, quintuple octaves, octuple octaves. But so anyway. But he was a pianistic genius and a great composer too. So that makes this set all the more significant. Sonic considerations be damned. I can't resist. She has the most beautiful coat. It feels wonderful. She's short-haired. And it really is quite exquisite, I have to say. Anyway, let's get through these. Piano Concertos 2 and 3 with, it doesn't even say, of course. You know what? Let's do the booklet. It's just we're just going to get more information, I think. Hopefully. Wow. These give you no information on orchestras. Well, it's all Philadelphia, and it was Stokowski and Ormandy and those people, but I can't believe that they don't tell you. Oh yeah, here we go. Stokowski conductor, Ormandy conductor, and some other people. Wow. Unbelievable. Philadelphia in the back. Can you believe that? Okay, let's go back to these aren't original covers or anything. They all look like that. In this particular edition, they changed them depending on which edition it was. But I'm going to now put these away because they've annoyed me. And we're going to go through all of this stuff from the booklet, just to be sane. All right, so we've got piano concertos, all 4 of them, and the Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini. And the performances are all sui generis. The one thing about Rachmaninoff as a performer of his own music is just how elegant and light-handed and swift and flowing his interpretations are, compared to so many later ones, which are slower and heavier and thicker and clunkier. I mean, he makes almost everybody else sound awkward in comparison, except for certain greats like Earl Wild and Zoltan Kocis and Stephen Huff, for example, in his Rachmaninoff Concerto Cycle. I mean, lots of people play that music very well now, but there's still a special quality to his performances. And it's one, interestingly, that has been seldom imitated. So they're valuable to this day. Then we've got The Isle of the Dead, which is kind of cool just to have a performance of that. And the Third Symphony. These are just early versions that had his sanction. He wasn't actually performing these with Ormandy and Philly, I think, for the most part. If I look at this again, it will tell me. I mean, I don't want to go through it again because it's already irritated the crap out of me. Let's see, CD2, CD3, CD3, CD3. Oh, there it is. Yes, it's Philadelphia Orchestra. And Eugene Ormandy, conductor, I think. Oh, these are so messed up. Wow. Anyway, so, and the vocalese, so you get that. Okay, forget that. That's more orchestral stuff that received his imprimatur. Then we have CD4. Okay, Beethoven. The Piano Sonata Opus 30, number 3, Schubert's Sonata D574 in A major, and the Grieg Piano Sonata in C minor. The Grieg is particularly wonderful, I think. Then you've got Bach, a bit of his Partita, a bit of Handel's, the Harmonious Blacksmith, Beethoven's C minor variations, a bit of the Rondo alla Turca by Mozart, 2 minutes long, short of some repeats. Chopin's Heimkehr, arranged by Liszt, and Polish songs. There's all kinds of stuff. He was doing 78s back in those days. I mean, everybody was, right? And so most of these pieces are short sniglets, tiny things that would fit on a 78 side. But you've got the Liszt Polonaise number 2, which is kind of a rarity, and played to the nines, and some Mendelssohn and more Schubert, and let's see, Gnommenregen by Liszt, and some Gluck, and Mendelssohn and Schumann, and Spanish's Liederspiel, and Paderewski's Minuet, the famous Paderewski Minuet, and the Kreisler Liebesfreude, which was one of everybody's classic pieces. Okay, now we come to the heavy, hot stuff. Chopin, Sonata number 2, the Funeral March Sonata. Yeah, now that you're going to want to hear. I mean, that's absolutely essential. Schumann's Carnival. For many, this is still the iconic recording of Carnival. It is unbelievably amazing. I quite simply agree. It's beautifully coherent, well put together, full of imagination. I could point out little individual bitlets, but I mean, it's extremely amazing. And then Chopin, Nocturne, Waltz, Ballade. Ballade number 3. Mazurka, Waltz. CD7 has some Bach Partita number 3 bits. No one played complete Bach anything in those days. Another Kreisler Liebesfreude, Schubert from Wohin from Die Schöne Müllerin, transcribed by Rachmaninoff. The Kreisler is also transcribed by Rachmaninoff. The Bach is transcribed by Rachmaninoff. The Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream Scherzo, transcribed by Rachmaninoff. All that stuff is just fantastic, legendary, even the Mendelssohn particularly. Then you've got lots of Rachmaninoff, a bunch of Rachmaninoff, and some Mussorgsky. These are all Rachmaninoff transcriptions. The Fair at Sorochinsk, the Hopak, the Tchaikovsky Lullaby, Opus 16, number 1, The Flight of the Bumblebee. That is like a super duper uber famous transcription. Beethoven Turkish March from the Ruins of Athens, Borodin's Scherzo, which is a real thing, a bit of Tchaikovsky's The Seasons, the Troika from November, Scriabin, Strauss, Power and Paint, arranged by Sergei Rachmaninoff, and Rachmaninoff's Polka Italienne for piano 4 hands with Natalie Rachmaninoff playing along, or Natalia, whatever her name was. Then you've got, let's see, another Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto number 2. This is on CD8. He did that twice, didn't he? Yeah. Hang on a minute. Let's see who's doing this one. I mean, it's the same folks as doing the last one, but let's just make sure. CD8, track 1 through 3, Philadelphia Orchestra. It doesn't say it was Ormandy at that point. And then we've got a bunch of preludes and all kinds of short Rachmaninoff pieces. Then Chopin, a mazurka, Opus 63, number 3, the Nocturne, Opus 15, number 2. F sharp major, the Grand Valse Brillante. Oh, and it's very valse-ish. Oh, a bunch of waltzes, including the minute waltz, which takes 1 minute and 56 seconds. As well it should. Actually, there's another minute waltz. It takes 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And let's see, Le Coucou by Louis-Claude Daquin. Bizet, the Minuet from L'Arlésienne Suite number 1, arranged by Rachmaninoff. And let's see, the Scriabin arrangement of Saint-Saëns' The Swan from Carnival of the Animals. And then more short pieces by Grieg and Dochnani and Henselt and Moskowski, and a couple bits of Debussy's Children's Corner, which is wonderful, by the way. And let's see, Tchaikovsky's November Troika again. And then we've got Rachmaninoff stuff, more Rachmaninoff and more Chopin and more Mozart and Liszt. And I keep talking about the same stuff. It's over and over again. Why waste your time by mentioning the same pieces? Here's the bottom line, right? You got it, right? You know. Here's the bottom line. Rachmaninoff was an important composer. He was one of the most popular of the 20th century. His piano playing was legendary. He had a huge career as a concert pianist as well as a composer. And so this legacy, no one is going to argue with me. I don't really have to make the case, do I? It's one of the greatest recording projects ever. Ever. Enough said. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for your assistance, Mildred. It was nice seeing you here. And take care.